Ernst Young, one of the big four accounting giants, just leaked 4 terabytes of client data, not through some advanced state-sponsored attack, but through an unprotected cloud backup sitting open on the internet. And this isn't just any company. This is the firm trusted to audit the cybersecurity practices of everyone else. So when the auditors can't secure themselves, who's left to audit the auditors? Today, we're diving into the Ernst Young data leak, how it happened, and what it says about the entire auditing industry. Because when an organization built on trust exposes terabytes of confidential data, it's not just a mistake. It's a warning shot for every business that still equates compliance with security. But before we get into that, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and check out all of my other socials down below in the description. It really helps more people see videos like this, especially ones that hold even the biggest names accountable. Now let's talk about what happens when the organizations meant to verify everyone else's security can't even secure themselves. Researchers discovered a publicly exposed Microsoft Azure blob belonging to Ernst Young. This loophole was uncovered by Dutch security outfit Security during routine passive network and cloud asset scanning. Inside, roughly 4 terabytes of data, SQL Server backups filled with internal records, client files, project details, maybe even personally identifiable information. Apparently there is no password, no encryption, and no access controls. Just sitting there, waiting to be found. It reportedly stayed exposed for weeks until researchers notified EY, who quietly locked it down. EY called it a limited incident. But make no mistake, this wasn't a hack. It was a failure of basic cloud hygiene, similar to incidents we've discussed like the T-app being breached prior. And for a company that literally audits others' data security controls, that's about as ironic as it gets. This isn't the first time we've seen this movie. Back in 2017, Deloitte was breached when a single admin account with global access got compromised and didn't even have multi-factor authentication, apparently. KPMG faced serious regulatory action in 2019. They settled with the SEC for obtaining confidential inspection data and altering audit work papers. We also found earlier web exposures at KPMG websites in 2013 showing internal directories and email addresses and running even then out-of-date IIS servers. So EY's leak is just another chapter in a long-running problem. The watchdogs don't have watchdogs. These firms audit Fortune 500 companies, critical infrastructure, even governments, yet rarely face meaningful scrutiny themselves. When your job is to hand out trust certifications, but you're not being independently verified, that's a systemic failure, not just a PR problem. Let's break down why this keeps happening. We've built an entire ecosystem that confuses passing an audit with being secure. A SOC 2 report proves you had controls in place at one point in time. ISO 27001 certification says you've got documented policies. But none of that guarantees your configurations aren't wide open today. It's like passing a driving test and assuming you'll never crash again. Compliance frameworks are retrospective. They validate paperwork, not live security posture. Security has to be continuous, adaptive, and verified. Otherwise, you end up like EY, compliant on paper, but breached in practice. So, how do you accidentally leak 4 terabytes? Usually, it's a test environment, a temporary backup, or an engineer enabling public access for convenience and forgetting to disable it. Misconfigurations are behind nearly half of all cloud exposures today. Every cloud provider, Amazon Web Services, Azure, Google Cloud Platform gives you encryption, identity and access management roles, and access alerts. But only if you turn them on. EY's Azure blob was marked for public read. That's it. Anyone with the link could pull the data. Zero trust means assuming that link will leak and building layers of defense to contain the fallout when it does. Here is the real issue: overconfidence. Big consultancies operate like they're bulletproof. When you're the one writing the rules, it's easy to believe they don't apply to you. That arrogance breeds complacency. Everyone assumes someone else is managing the risk until no one is. And cybersecurity doesn't care about prestige. Whether you're an intern or a billion-dollar auditor, the moment you stop validating your own controls, you are already compromised. Every business today relies on third parties, cloud providers, managed service providers, auditors. The moment you share data with them, they become part of your attack surface. But when that third party is an auditor, the exposure multiplies. Because they hold everyone's secrets. A single breach at EY isn't one victim, it's hundreds of downstream companies. That's why Zero Trust must extend beyond your firewall, into your vendor contracts, your audits, and your risk assessments. Let's talk about what Zero Trust actually means, because it's not a product, it's a philosophy. Identity. Every user must authenticate, ideally with phishing-resistant MFA like YubiKeys or FIDO2 tokens. Device. Only patched, managed devices get access. EDR tools, endpoint detection and response tools like CrowdStrike or Defender for endpoint verify health. Network. Microsegment everything. If one node falls, it doesn't take down the kingdom. Application. Enforce least privilege single sign-on. No God accounts sitting around for convenience. Data. Encrypt at rest and in transit. Monitor every read, write, and log all access attempts. When these layers work together, a single misconfigured bucket can't turn into a global breach. That's the point. Never trust. Always verify. Speaking of Zero Trust and encryption, protecting your own communications should be just as serious. That's why I use and recommend Proton, the privacy-first suite that includes Proton Mail, Proton VPN, Proton Drive, and Proton Pass. Everything's end-to-end encrypted, open source, and based in Switzerland under strong privacy laws. You can try Proton using my affiliate link below. It supports the channel and helps me keep making independent cybersecurity content. So, what can you do right now? Whether you're a sysadmin, small to medium business owner, or just a tech-savvy viewer, audit your own cloud storage. Make sure nothing is publicly readable. Turn on encryption by default. Use a secrets manager like Doppler, Vault, or AWS Secrets Manager instead of .env files. Run tools like Prowler, Scout Suite, or Cloud Query to find misconfigurations. And finally, treat every vendor, even your auditor, as untrusted until proven otherwise. Security isn't paranoia. It's verification culture. Sometimes it feels like the audit industry has turned into audit theater. 10-page executive summaries, color-coded charts, and buzzwords, all designed to look secure. But ask them for an exploit chain, mitigation plan, and suddenly everyone's quiet. That's not cybersecurity. That's performance art. We don't need more glossy reports. We need measurable resilience. The EY breach isn't an isolated event. It's a mirror held up to the entire auditing ecosystem. Vendor trust isn't transitive. Your auditor's reputation doesn't equal your safety. Regulators and clients need to demand continuous monitoring and independent third-party audits of the auditors themselves. Transparency isn't optional anymore. It's the only way to rebuild confidence in an industry built on trust. Ernst Young's leak is more than a story about misconfigured storage. It's a lesson in humility. Even the giants can fall. And the moment we stop questioning our own assumptions, the moment we say, that could never happen here, that's the exact moment it will. So stop trusting by default. Start verifying by design. Because in cybersecurity, trust isn't earned once. It's earned every single day. What do you think? Should the Big Four be required to undergo annual independent cybersecurity reviews just like the rest of us? Let me know in the comments. Join the discussion on Discord or Matrix. Links are below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow me across the Fediverse and Blue Sky. And as always, happy hacking.